Hal Jordan is the most iconic Green Lantern and is widely regarded as one of the most powerful heroes in the entire DC universe. Hal started off as a fearless test pilot who became the Green Lantern of Sector 2814 after being chosen by the power ring of a dying alien who crash-landed on Earth, named Abin Sur. The ring grants Hal incredible abilities powered by his own willpower, and it makes him a member of the Green Lantern Corps, an intergalactic peacekeeping force. Originally, these Green Lanterns had a weakness to the color yellow. However, this weakness was later removed because the yellow fear entity known as Parallax was removed from the central power battery. Within this video, we're going to showcase Hal's strength, speed, willpower, abilities, and durability to gain an understanding of why he stands among the most powerful figures in the entire universe.
So we're going to start off with Hal's AP, which is a mixture of both his energy blast and constructs. Hal's energy blast shot straight through Cyborg Superman while he was amped by multiple Green Lantern rings. What's important to note here is that it took him multiple pages to recover from this blast. Prior to this, he took a blast from Parallax Hal, and it only took him around half a page to recover. With his energy blast, he's one-shot Renegade Guardian Krona, who at the time was above the 7 emotional entities and all the Guardians. It's also important to note that Hal's energy blasts are much stronger than his constructs, as in the same encounter with Krona, he and Sinestro sent a combined construct at him, and Krona just no-selled it. Then, Hal one-shots Krona on the next page. Before this, Hal Jordan had also damaged Krona while he was hosting the concept of Willpower Ion, which we'll dive into the complexities of this feat later on. In his pre-crisis battle with Captain Atom, Hal actually overpowers Captain Atom's blast and damages him in the process. After this, Atom states that he had been underestimating Lantern's power because all he heard about was Guy Gardner. Now, with his constructs, he's damaged and knocked back Cyborg Superman whilst he was amped with the Phantom Ring, which gives him access to the 7 main emotions and direct connection to the emotional spectrum. A Hal from 10 years into the past damaged and even knocked out Zero Hour Parallax with a constructed fist, even breaking free of one of Parallax's constructs shortly after. While Hal was weakened by mind control, his blast and constructs damaged Superman in this post-crisis interaction. And again in Rebirth, the constructs were able to damage Superman while Hal was weakened. Now, regardless of whether or not you believe Zod let Hal win, Hal's constructs alone still made Zod bleed and bruise under 2 yellow suns. Shortly after coming back to life in Green Lantern Rebirth, Hal clashed with Sinestro, bending reality. In trying to destroy a moon, his blast ricocheted off of the moon and destroyed the planet it was orbiting. With these constructed brass knuckles, he damaged Lobo and with his own constructs destroyed Larfleeze's constructs. Lastly, Hal matched Parallax Sinestro in a fight, and prior to this, Parallax Sinestro had damaged Volthoom, effectively drawing blood from him. The same Volthoom that tanked a blast from most of the Lantern Corps, including White Lantern Kyle Rayner, whilst he himself was in a weakened state. So yeah, Hal hits pretty hard. I wonder if we're gonna get to see that in the DCU.
Now we'll move into how fast the Emerald Gladiator actually is. Starting off with his travel speed, his most impressive showing of travel speed is probably when he outsped Light Ray, the fastest of the New Gods. This feat is impressive because of the fact that at this point in time, Light Ray was moving at his top speed because he was trying to deliver Highfather to the Source Wall as fast as he could. But what's even more impressive about this feat is in doing so, Hal Jordan was also able to nearly merge into the Speed Force because of how fast he was going. Hal Jordan has also shown that he is able to time travel with his own sheer speed on several different occasions, as well as being able to move in a place with no space and no time. And in another instance, not only moving in a place with no time, but crossing an infinite barrier in an instant. This level of speed is consistent for Hal because in another instance, he was shown flying so fast that infinity folded on itself. It's also been verbatim stated by Jay Garrick that he's not the fastest member on his teams in reference to the Justice League, and then we get an image of Hal Jordan implying that he is one of the characters Jay Garrick was referencing that is faster than him. This is noteworthy because while Jay Garrick isn't the fastest speedster, he's still done notable things like keep pace behind Zoom, and is verbatim stated by Batman that in order to beat Jay Garrick in a race, you need to be at Wally West levels of speed. This also obviously would be in reference to Wally West at that point in time, not the current Wally West that we have today, who was significantly faster than he was back then. Moving on to Hal Jordan's combat and reaction speed, he's shown that he's fast enough to quick draw on Black Hand. Prior to this, Black Hand was fast enough to stop a blitzing Barry Allen from attacking Necron. Next, in a fight with Zoom, Hal was able to react to him multiple times, and this was while Zoom was actively trying to kill him and while Hal was holding back because at the time he thought that this was Barry Allen coming back to life with amnesia. And lastly, his constructs are also fast enough to catch Zoom while he's moving at speeds fast enough to fight both Superman and Wonder Woman. And he's even reacted to high tier lanterns such as Larfleeze.
Alright, so next up we're going to discuss Hal Jordan's durability. Contrary to what some animated movies will show you, Hal actually has endured some pretty crazy stuff. Hal's tanked a blast from the living planet Mogo, while Mogo was being boosted by hundreds of rings. And some of those rings were from notable lanterns like Jon Stewart and Kyle Rayner. He's taken a hit from Mongol into a water tower and has even taken an off-guard attack from Black Adam. During the Blackest Night event, he took a hit from Black Lantern Martian Manhunter, and then took multiple hits from Barry Allen, who at the time thought Hal was Martian Manhunter. Additionally, Hal has taken these energy attacks from Krona, and while they did do a lot of damage to him, he still fully recovered quickly and one-shot Krona 2 to 3 pages later. While Hal still had the weakness to yellow, he took multiple attacks from Mongol. Even after getting his knee and arm shattered, he still gets up and hits him with Steel's hammer so hard that it breaks and defeats Mongol. While trying to distract Sinestro and holding back, he takes a blast and multiple hits from Parallax Sinestro, who is using both the power of Parallax and at least some of the Fear Engine. And afterwards, he's shown to already be up in the next page and continuing their fight. Keep in mind that Parallax Sinestro not only mastered Parallax unlike Hal did when he was, but he's also no-diffed a new god. Sinestro simply bonding with Parallax was so powerful that Hal could sense it throughout the emotional spectrum, and at the time was stated to be stronger than he had ever been, which would include when he was a White Lantern. To end off this category, an already battle-damaged Hal from when Cyborg Superman had off-guarded him takes a hit from Hank Henshaw amped on multiple Green Lantern rings. And then later on in Rebirth, Tank's getting slammed into a building by Cyborg Superman with the Phantom Ring.
Next up, we are going to cover the most defining trait of Hal Jordan's character, which is his willpower. His ability to overcome fear and continue fighting for what he believes in is the very reason he was chosen to be a Green Lantern, and all his surplus of willpower is a huge reason for why he is the greatest Lantern of them all. The first example of this is from Batman saying that Hal has more willpower than both himself and Superman individually. Hal even states that he has the most willpower of anyone on Earth, which was even backed up by him manipulating willpower without a ring. We also have the Guardian Galaxy stating that Hal Jordan has enough willpower to power the entire Blue Lantern Corps. For those of you who don't know, Blue Lanterns cannot function without a Green Lantern nearby, so Green Lanterns are essentially the power source for Blue Lanterns. Hal Jordan has such strong will that during the Night Terror event where the entire DC Universe's heroes were trapped in nightmares, Hal's nightmare could not make him feel fear. It literally couldn't find fear for Hal Jordan, and because of that, it backfired onto the nightmare, and the nightmare became scared of Hal Jordan. One of our favorite instances that shows Hal's insane willpower come from his latest run, where his ring had no juice and he had to jumpstart the ring back up just with his own sheer willpower alone. Probably the greatest out of all of these is when we have Volthoom stating that Hal is a nexus for the same willpower that resides in the central power battery. He even questions whether he may be a stronger focus than it. This is extremely impressive because at this point in time, the very entity of willpower, Ion, resided in the power battery.
Last but certainly not least, we have the many abilities, hacks, and resistances that Hal has. For this, we won't use abilities shown in the Grant Morrison run, as those were granted by a power battery he doesn't currently have. Starting off, Hal not only has the ability to teleport himself and others, but also has the ability to open wormholes and travel through something that's referred to as a warp jump, warp space, or transluminal space, which allows most users to travel faster than they normally can. While Hal's ring was actively being drained by a Manhunter, it was shown that the energy shield that usually surrounds Hal prevents his limbs from being ripped off. And with his constructs, he can make himself and others invisible, can make them soundproof, and can phase through his own constructs. Simply putting a construct around his head made him and another immune to Martian Manhunter's telepathy, and his ring has shown a direct resistance to matter manipulation. Hal Jordan can see all the way down to a molecular level, and can affect the molecular structure of things. Hal has a resistance to antimatter, with his natural force field protecting him from antimatter in the antimatter universe. His ring showed the ability to take or absorb other people's willpower, and he did it again most recently in his current run without a ring on, when he took it from this Manhunter to create a Shadow of the Green Lantern ring. Lanterns have shown the ability to create kryptonite, and Guy Gardner tells us that they do it by matching the radiation signature of kryptonite. Hal can change the weight or density of his constructs, and has shown he can vibrate them. He's destroyed things on a molecular level, as he showed with the Manhunter nanites, which were inside his bloodstream. And in the same comic, he showed that he has heat manipulation, as he created a blast as hot as the sun to shoot at Hank Henshaw. The Green Lantern ring has shown twice that it can bring people back to life. It did it here with Jessica Cruz, and did it again with Hal when he was a Black Lantern. And last, but certainly not least, he has energy manipulation, and weaker lanterns than Hal, like Kyle Rayner, have absorbed Star Destroying Blast. And to end off this category, at the end of the Grant Morrison run, Hal is absorbing enough energy from multiple power batteries across countless Earths in the multiverse to give an unlimited amount of power to the Golden Giants to create this power source that would forever endure.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be all for this video. There's a lot more feats that we could have used in this video, but we're going to be saving those for other versus matchups and breakdowns. If there is any specific versus matchups or breakdowns you guys would like to see, leave them below in the comments, but be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.